For joining us for this Week in Review, looking back at the stories that made headlines this week. Now, we're looking to a wickedly hot week ahead. High heat warnings blanket the region. So hot it can be dangerous. CTV's Luke Simard has more on the first heat wave of the summer.
If you're looking for a game of pickleball, early bird gets the worm.
Playing a great pickleball and enjoying the summer. It's hot, buddy, but it works.
And if you're hitting the court, doing what you can to stay safe.
I'm not complaining. We had such a crappy winter. I'm happy to be out here.
Staying hydrated, not wearing heavy clothes, staying in light clothes, staying hydrated, and maybe going inside for a little bit of
sunscreen, staying hydrated, staying in the shade, and just like staying in the air conditioning, staying cool, maybe taking a dip in the water.
With temperatures expected to climb into the 30s this week, Environment and Climate Change Canada climatologists are saying get used to it.
Hey, this is the first one, but not the last one. And so we're clearly seeing this as kind of the opening act to what we think will be the kind of flavor and personality of the rest of the summer in July, August, and maybe even to September.
With Phillips adding temperatures recorded outside are in the shade, with the sun shining making it feel even hotter.
It's very stressful on the body, and that's why it's usually the first one. The long one is the most unhealthy ones.
The Simcoe-Muskoka District Health Unit reminding the public to do what they can to stay cool and look for warning signs of heat exhaustion.
It may start out with dizziness. It may have headache. You may have headaches. You could have nausea. That can progress to much more serious symptoms.
And if the symptoms get worse,
it's very important to remain hydrated and keep the salt balance up. And then ultimately, heat exhaustion can lead to heat stroke, which is a life-threatening illness, which could be fatal if precautions aren't taken, such as getting to medical attention.
The Simcoe-Muskoka District Health Unit is reminding the public to check on your loved ones during heat waves. That includes young children and seniors who can start showing symptoms earlier than you think. Luke Simard, CTV News, Barrie.
Now, the heat is tough, and it's not just a comfort problem for small kids, seniors, and homeless people. It can be literally deadly. CTV's Luke Simard is back with a look at how our local communities are working to protect the most vulnerable among us.
Is very serious. It affects everybody, particularly the more vulnerable. We hear this all the time.
Extremely hot temperatures have made their way to the region, and if you find yourself suffering from heat exhaustion, paramedics are ready.
We're looking for the clear signs and symptoms of a heat stroke, right? The lack of dehydration, the high temperatures, your skin color, your level of consciousness, your level of confusion, whether you're conscious or not, because you could actually go unconscious if your body temperature does reach that extreme.
And if you come across someone suffering from these symptoms, there are ways you can help, including moving them to a cooler environment or shade.
Remove some of that unnecessary clothing that they might have. If they're able to swallow, because their level of consciousness as well, give them some water and start hydrating them. And then give the 911 dispatcher as much information as possible to where your location is, and we'll get there as soon as we can.
Heat exhaustion can quickly turn into heat stroke and be deadly.
Everybody's susceptible to this heat. It's not, there's no exception to it. Like I said, just the elderly and the kids are more susceptible to it, but they just get to that quicker.
The County of Simcoe has also opened cooling centers down for those experiencing homelessness, where they can cool off and still have access to support systems.
All of our emergency shelters are actually operating much more than just emergency accommodations. We are providing 3 meals a day. We also have drop-in community spaces layered throughout all of our emergency shelters. These spaces will offer services such as primary care, employment services, social assistance such as Ontario Work staff.
The City of Barrie has also opened cooling centers around the city during this heat warning. Places like rec centers and libraries will be open for cooling during operating hours until the heat wave is over. Luke Simard, CTV News, Barrie.
Now our beaches, rivers, and lakes are full as people look to beat the heat this week. And while it's a good way to keep cool, it does come with some dangers. How Simcoe police say, be prepared. Don't take your safety for granted when you head out on the water. One of the best ways to do that is to wear a life jacket, whether you're on the boat, the dock, relaxing in a floater, or even swimming. A life jacket can save you in an accident. An emergency kit can help too, with water and food, a whistle or some other noisemaker, and a fully charged cell phone. If your boat breaks down, you'll be able to call for help and stay comfortable while you wait for someone to come. If you're going to be driving that boat, well, you've also got to stay sober.
It is paramount for the safety of everybody out on the water. It also carries very serious consequences. So if you are caught with an above legal limit of alcohol and operating a vessel, you will lose your driver's license for the same 90-day period that you would as if you were operating a vehicle. So we'd like to remind everybody that the consequences are real. There is a criminal offense that you would be charged with if you are caught drinking and operating a boat.
Officers are now out in force across our region's lakes. Holidays and long weekends, especially busy on waterways with lots of people from out of the region visiting. So it's even more important to pay attention and stay safe. And it is not just here that we're feeling the heat. Much of South and Central Ontario, as well as parts of Quebec, are gripped by the first major heat wave of the season, with sweltering conditions expected to last for days and humidex values climbing into the 40s. Here's CTV's John Venevali-Rao.
Under an intense sun and temperatures starting to soar, in Toronto, many taking the season's first major heat wave in stride.
Kind of disgusted, but also I love warm weather and winter makes me sad, so I'll take the heat.
Environment Canada issuing orange and yellow warnings for much of Ontario for what it's calling a long-duration heat event. Temperatures climbing to 35 or more by midweek, and the humidex expected to be in the 40s. While southern Quebec is also expecting to feel the heat starting Wednesday.
This has got all the elements of it that makes it a really good old-fashioned classic July heat wave. The length, the heat, the humidity.
It's all part of a sprawling heat dome, also baking large parts of the central and eastern U.S. as Americans prepare to celebrate the country's 250th anniversary. And amid World Cup games and festivities, these fans trying to stay cool in Texas. In Toronto, the temperature is expected to be above 30 Celsius for at least 6 days in a row. And Canada Day is expected to be one of the hottest ever, with a forecast high of 35 without the humidity. In Windsor, 36, and it could break a record.
Yeah, drink a lot of water and enjoy.
Experts say the first heat wave is usually the most dangerous and are advising people to stay hydrated and out of the sun to avoid heat stroke.
I think people need to remember that extreme heat is dangerous, especially to older individuals, especially to people with pre-existing medical problems.
That danger has been felt across Europe, where the heat wave there has brought about a spike in deaths. The two weather events aren't linked, but share similarities.
So we're under the same kind of a weather pattern. It's a high pressure area that sits there and won't leave.
Meanwhile, Environment Canada models suggest in parts of the country it will be a warmer than normal summer. And Dave Phillips suggests this heat wave may just be a taste of what's to come. John Venevali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Still to come on CTV News this week, a man who openly insulted the judge in trial. Part of what the Crown calls a pattern of misogyny. He learns his fate in a Barrie courtroom. Stay with us. You're watching CTV News. A Barrie man who openly insulted his judge and other court staff online during his trial has been sentenced. CTV's Mike Arslidis reports.
3 of your officers are reporting to be afraid of me and their wives and their mothers. You might as well make me an offer I can't refuse. Let's be real here.
Dylan Zona will be staying in jail for another 16 months for hate-motivated crimes against police officers and their female partners. Zona was convicted of criminal harassment and telecommunications when he targeted 2 Barrie police officers and their spouses between 2022 and 2024. Justice Nancy Dawson sentenced Zona to 32 months, less time served.
You'll never be able to prove who.
The court heard Zona use social media to target the 2 male officers and their loved ones online, obsessively messaging them, making lewd remarks, tracking personal accounts, taking photos of their partners and impersonating one of the officers to contact unsuspecting family and friends. In one case, he contacted the mother of one officer and threatened to harm their children and poison their dog, saying he had the right to put one of the officers 6 feet under. All after Zona had been previously charged by the 2 Barrie police officers. Zona begged for forgiveness. He told the court he was battling mental health issues and abusing alcohol, saying he heard voices and became angry with police. The court was provided no medical records to confirm his claims.
There wasn't a conviction today for the contempt.
2 years ago, Zona was facing a potential contempt of court charge after he told the regional senior judge to shut her mouth. During trial, Zona mocked the court on his Facebook page, making vulgar and misogynistic remarks, insulting police, judges, and female court staff, blaming his actions on bad police interactions. He told the court he is getting help while in jail and wants to go back to school, get a job, and start a family. Your Honor, I promise you, if you give me a second chance, I won't mess it up. I will continue to get the help I need and get my life together. Crown Attorney Indy Candola questioned Zona's sincerity, accusing Zona of being especially angry toward women, and that his misogyny included a post with a caption that the female judge show him her breasts. Zona said, "I haven't hurt anybody. I haven't killed anybody. I can still say I am sorry. I understand. It's an honest mistake. It's words." "You're not sorry," Candola told Zona. "You're sorry you were found guilty." The Crown, when reached for comment, told CTV News he tried to diminish the female victims and justice system participants because of their gender, including the judge, while blinded by hate, adding, "What he will likely never fully appreciate is that the judge used all of her acquired knowledge and skill through her years of hard work and dedication and demonstrated great restraint in his favor, a level of restraint that only a seasoned, experienced, thoughtful, and intelligent woman could demonstrate."
Flipped off to the judge.
Justice Dawson said Zona had a lack of insight into his actions and is ordered not to communicate with his victims or make threatening comments or posts to police officers or their family members on social media. Zona is also ordered to stay away from Barrie once out of jail. Upon his release from custody, Justice Dawson has also banned Zona from having weapons on him for 20 years. Mike Arsleedy, CTV News, Bradford.
Staying with our courts, an Orillia man who admitted to stabbing a stranger outside a motel last summer learned his fate. CTV's Mike Arsleedy was there, but first, a warning. Some viewers may find the details of this story disturbing.
Madison Quinn has been sentenced to another 23 months for stabbing and nearly killing a man last summer in Orillia. Justice Michael Harper calling the stabbing an unprovoked and random, nearly lethal attack. Quinn, now 27, admitted to threatening to kill the man's wife, who said he yelled at her and threatened to kill her unborn child. When her spouse, Ryan Laws, intervened, Quinn stabbed Laws 4 times in the abdomen, ribcage, and chest outside this motel along West Street, where they'd been staying that weekend to host a baby shower. After being stabbed, the court heard Laws was airlifted to St. Mike's in Toronto, where he developed a flesh-eating bacteria, and doctors feared he might not make it. Laws told the court in a victim impact statement that he will continue living with the physical, emotional, and psychological consequences of that night for the rest of his life. As part of an agreed statement of facts, Quinn accepted responsibility for attacking Laws with his 4-inch fishing knife after becoming upset he was being stared at while drunk and hunched over. He said he feared Laws, who told him to apologize for threatening his spouse. The Crown sought a sentence of 3 more years behind bars. The defense had asked for a shorter sentence of 6 months in jail. Quinn has been in custody since his arrest the night of the attack after fleeing the scene. His lawyer, Will Cavan, characterized the stabbing as emotion poorly influenced by alcohol, saying Quinn feared for his safety when Laws got in his face. Quinn apologized to the Laws family, telling them he was truly remorseful. Upon his release from custody in about 2 years, Quinn will be placed on probation and is ordered not to communicate with the Laws family. Mike Arsleedy, CTV News, Barrie.
Canadians are waiting hours and sometimes days in emergency rooms across the country, and a new report suggests the problem doesn't actually come from the ER. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on what's really driving the delays.
Long waits in Canada's emergency rooms have become an all too familiar experience, and Brenda Trottier knows that firsthand.
It was frustrating.
She says her daughter went to a Calgary emergency room with abdominal pain last month and did not leave until more than 10 hours later.
Why wasn't her pain addressed? Why did we wait so long?
A new report by the Canadian Institute for Health Information found 1 in 10 patients spent more than 14 hours in the ER in 2024-2025. For those needing to be admitted, 1 in 10 spent more than 2 days in the ER waiting for a bed. This doctor says it's a long-standing issue that keeps getting worse.
We've been calling a state of emergency and state of crisis.
The report suggests the root of the problem often lies far beyond the emergency department. Shortages of hospital beds, long-term care spaces, and community supports are creating a bottleneck through the healthcare system.
Our government has been neglecting on some of the capacity and workforce building.
The consequences of overcrowded emergency departments have at times been tragic. In Alberta, 44-year-old Prashant Srikumar died in an Edmonton ER. And in Ontario, 16-year-old Finlay Vander Werken died in an Oakville ER. Both waited 8 hours to see a doctor. The Alberta government says population growth, rising demand, and increasing patient complexity are contributing to longer waits.
I think the feds have to get involved now and actually start to say, hey, we need to look at this in a national solution.
Trottier is thankful her daughter's condition wasn't more serious and understands medical staff are under strain, but says enough is enough.
It is broken.
And the government needs to make changes. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Still to come on CTV News this week, decades of international cooperation, a local orchard, and the skilled workers from Jamaica who've become like part of the family. That story coming up on CTV News Barrie. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in with us this Canada Day Wednesday. A local apple orchard is celebrating decades of cooperation with Jamaica. Skilled workers from there coming here to help with the harvest. The Blue Mountains Farm says it's been a game changer for both the business and those workers. CTV's Rob Cooper reports.
45-year-old Paul Sherrier of Jamaica has been working at this town of Blue Mountains apple farm for the past decade. He's here as part of the seasonal agricultural work program. Workers spend up to 7 months a year working in Canada, and Scherer says it works out well for him.
Help us out a lot financially. It helps us to be more stable, financially stable. Yep, so you can take care of things like school your kids, take care of your household.
The seasonal agricultural work program has been around for 60 years.
This program has worked very well for us.
The apple orchard has been involved in the program since 1979. It started using it after having issues with staff retention or even people showing up for work on a regular basis.
It's hard to find people that want to work in a seasonal job for 6 or 7 weeks a year. It works for the men because they are able to count on having a job. They earn their own money. Very much a win-win.
Dane Pinder found out about the program through his mother 26 years ago. Since then, he's become like family to everyone at the farm.
There's no problem with my boss. My boss is he's like a brother to us. So we get a better life going here.
Patty Hadju, the federal minister responsible for the Economic Development Agency for Northern Ontario, says Canada and Jamaica have strong ties. The Canada-Jamaican bilateral relationship also encompasses trade and investment, security and defense, and development cooperation.
There are about 22,000 people taking part in the seasonal agricultural worker program this year in Canada, most of them in Ontario. I'm told it's about 700 in our area, 70 alone at this farm. A celebration marking the 60th anniversary of the program is planned for July 24th. Rob Cooper, CTV News, in the town of Blue Mountains.
Now back to talking about that heat a little bit. It's played around the world and right here in our region. A new competition for junior lifeguards, putting speed and life-saving skills to the test.
Headers ready, heads down.
It's really exciting, and it's similar to musical chairs because there's always one less flag than there are people, so you're always competing against people beside you.
This game is really helpful to help spot targets at a distance and practicing running on sand, which is a little bit different than running on regular ground, right?
It's kind of just all myself in my head, and I'm kind of just running to try and get a flag. So it's a lot of mental, trying just to push yourself to your best.
The goal is to get more lifeguards to come, test out their skills on the sand and go from there.
Well, this is the first year the Georgina Rapids Aquatic Club has worked with the Life Saving Society to host the Dash for Flags competition. 40 athletes, some of them as young as 12 years old, took part. Now, thousands of young anglers line the shores of Lake Simcoe for a fun day of free fun.
It's just fun to fish, so I love it. It was really cool.
We are running our 20th Kids Fishing Day event. This is put on by the Kempenfell Rotary Club, and this would be the largest kids fishing event in the country.
We really try to get kids back engaged with the outside. This really is a give back event for our club, and you know, it's amazing to see the community out. We got close to 2,000 kids, all their parents and other loved ones. We probably got close to 5,000 people in the park today, and this is what Barrie's all about, is getting out and experiencing Barrie, so we're happy for it. It's awesome to see, you know, young kids pass it on to other generations, but it's just great for kids to get out here, experience the waterfront, and try to catch a couple fish.
It's fun. It makes you want to do it more. It's just always fun.
It's exciting, and it's just like you want to keep catching, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a higher chance of catching more fish now.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
I like it because I don't have a rod at home, so then I can just get a free one.
Every kid who got one of those rods got to take it home afterward with the hope that they would keep on fishing. An Alliston woman is celebrating 2 birthdays this Canada Day, our country's and her own, with a tradition that's getting bigger every year.
It's a special time to have your birthday, July 1st. And I would say Canadians, when I was young, they really didn't celebrate much on Canada Day. And it wasn't until Expo that it started to come alive.
92 Canadian flags now fill Marilyn Holmstrom's front lawn, one for every birthday she celebrated.
Happy birthday, Mom, on your 92nd birthday. She's a very proud and staunch Canadian, and everybody comes by and honks the horns and waves, so it's quite interesting how people in the Alliston area celebrate Canada Day as well.
Holmston has shared her day with Canada since she was born in 1934. Her daughter continues the tradition now, placing a flag on the family's lawn each and every year. Now that is a look back at the stories that made headlines this week. Happy Canada Day, and from all of us here, we hope you enjoy the holiday. Have a good night.